Hi art lovers, I'm Sonja Petersen and welcome to Sonja's Art Room. Today I'm sharing a time lapse of how I draw a house portrait using graphite pencils on paper. But first, if you want to learn more about color, drawing, painting, and my inspiration tips, please take a second to subscribe. It means you'll see all of the content I post and you'll never miss a project idea. We join my drawing in progress as I start to shade in the initial line drawing that I have already. It's proportionately pretty good, but I will definitely be tightening and fine-tuning my initial sketch as I go. The tools I'm using today are traditional pencils, a mechanical pencil, a blending stick, a clear triangle as my straight edge, and glassine paper to rest my hand on, which prevents smudging. My drawing process is basically to work from left to right, shading in layers and building darkness as I go. I rely on my straight edge a lot here. This is a small drawing, and the magic is in these wonderfully small details. These porch railings are very specific, and if they are wobbly, fuzzy, crooked, the wrong size, I will really lose the whole appearance of this house. It's also important to build the shades slowly. I don't want to get ahead of the rest of the house. There might be an area that needs to be darker, like the driveway. So I build these dark colors carefully, knowing that I'm going to come back over here again once I have the rest of the house. One of my last phases is I balance out the darkness and the shadows. I try to capture the little details that a homeowner recognizes as their house. For example, the stone border is likely one that the homeowner have built themselves, or at the very least, they've weed-eated a lot around it, right? If I rush through it, it just becomes too generic and just less sentimental, and that defeats the purpose of this drawing. This particular house is of a family's first home, so it's especially memorable. Windows are so important to take time on. On this drawing, they cover most of the front of the house and define this house's character. I'm using my straight edge a lot to capture definition, knowing that the siding is going to come in and make the windowsills pop off of this drawing. I'm building my shades with 2H, HB, and 2B pencils to get the variations that I want, and I use my blending tool to soften all of the lovely areas. My first love in drawing is architecture. In fact, when I was in grade school, I thought I wanted to be an architect until I found out that I just didn't care for the important details, such as the engineering and the electrical and things such as that. I just love to make things beautiful. So in high school, I actually began drawing houses for my friends' parents and for my teachers. Okay, this area that I'm working on is brick. The top half of the house is siding. So at this time, I'm trying to determine what level of darkness to properly show the contrast and imply brick and not overwhelm the rest of the drawing. I love my blending tool. It just softens out those strokes on this paper. Here's an important shadow that brings in the character of this house. Driveways are very tricky. It's really easy to want to make a driveway just solid black because it's, asphalt, but important not to go too dark, or that's just the first and only thing that people will see on a house. I sometimes debate about the side fencing, but I almost always include it. Again, it's part of their house and adds just that important detail that makes it their house. And here is a close-up of the details. Notice that I've added hints of brick. Captured their landscaping, really tried to highlight it in a wonderful way. And then just the smallest hint of siding, because this was a really pale siding. And the completed home. Thanks so much for joining me today. I love questions. Leave your questions in the comments below or contact me on my website at artworkbysonja.com. If you like this video, please hit the like button And be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch all of my new video and artwork inspirations. See you next time, art lovers!